aboard Motu Iti, our camper Nicholson 31. We sailed down from Annapolis, Maryland, and we're now in Hopetown in Abaco in the Bahamas. And we've made this trip once before. We came from Michigan down to the Exumas in the Bahamas. On that trip we had our two kids. They were 8 and 11 when we left, and we were on an aluminum center cockpit Shore 41.
Looks like we're cruising right along, doesn't it? Got the iron sails up, got the white sails up, we got everything up.
And it was a fine boat for the 4 of us for that trip. But for this trip we really wanted to downsize. And so we went to the camper Nicholson because it's a smaller boat, but it really had the features that we wanted on the boat. And I compare downsizing a boat really to people who sell their family homes and move into a condo. I think the key to downsizing is deciding what it is that you most like about the cruising life, and then find a boat that emphasizes those features that you most like. This has been a very comfortable boat for us. We like a smaller boat because it's easier to work on, it's easier to take care of, it takes less time, it's less expensive, it's easier for the 2 of us to manage. And it's been a very comfortable boat for us. We're very happy with it.
Another advantage of a smaller boat, and by the way, we have 2 larger boats which we're not using. We're using the smaller boat. Another advantage of a smaller boat is the anchoring system. This boat, we can have a 25 or 30 pound anchor and a 1/4 inch G70 chain, which in an emergency I can pull up by hand, even at my advanced age and weakness. Bigger boats, 60 pound anchor, 3/8 BBB chain, I can't handle that by hand. This with the small windlass, manual windlass, is easy for me to handle.
So here's one example of thinking about a smaller boat in a different way. And that's, what do we do with the trash? When I first got on the boat, it was like, where's the drawer where you keep the huge trash container with the large-sized trash bin in it? Well, this boat obviously isn't going to have one. So we use the bags that come with the groceries, and we made little hooks and we hang them here. And honestly, this is about as much trash as we use in 4 or 5 days.
One of the advantages of smaller boats is that instead of an autopilot that costs thousands and thousands of dollars and is power hungry and notoriously unreliable, you can have a little autopilot like this, which costs hundreds of dollars, and when it breaks, you row it over and you buy another one. And it's easy to replace. Out with the old, in with the new. No crawling underneath somewhere and unbolting and hurting your fingers and getting dirty. Now, another advantage of a smaller boat goes with an autopilot like this, and it's called a tiller. And the tiller is very reliable, strong, takes up very little room. When you're not using it, it's up out of the way and you have the whole cockpit instead of having a wheel.
The boat has a chart table and there's a quarter berth here, and my husband uses that as his man cave. That's where he keeps all of his stuff. We're working on the boat. The part of the downsizing that was the hardest for me to get used to is the galley area, because it's so much smaller than what I was used to. I don't need a waffle maker, an espresso maker, I don't need a toaster, I don't need a blender, but I do need a little bit of space. And so counter space became sort of a challenge. We were able to use the space in this area and access it better so that I have a lot of storage space up here. And I've gotten better at sort of arranging and managing the cooking so that I can make use of the little bit of space that we do have. I also have a stove that I really like that came with the Camper Nicholson, and it has a fabulous place to make toast. Not really grilling, but a place to make toast. The Camper Nicholson's ice box was not particularly well insulated on this boat, and so we opted to have a refrigeration unit that runs on 12 volt. It doesn't take very much power. It's called a Waco, and it's really as big as we need. It doesn't have a freezer, it's just a refrigerator, but it really, really works for us. And we have probably enough canned goods on this boat for us to live for probably a year and a half.